Hello, I'm Laura Yanez. It's 11 o'clock. Time for news.
You're watching KESQ, the desert's news leader, live in high definition. This is News Channel 3 at 11.
Thanks for joining us. Most of us in the Coachella Valley know someone who has had heart trouble. In fact, more than 2 million people suffer from heart attacks and strokes each year. As News Channel 3's Carolyn Pearson shows us, Eisenhower Medical Center teaches neighbors how February is more than just a month to celebrate love from your heart. It's about ensuring you have a healthy one.
I'm just lucky to be alive.
3 years ago, doctors discovered Eunice Gentry had clots in her heart and lungs.
You don't know your heart is not well if it doesn't give you any problems. So it's always good to go and have it checked.
Doctors like Barry Hackshaw, the medical director of Eisenhower's Cardiac Catheterization Laboratory, have been working with Eunice since, making slight changes to her diet and adding medication.
Eating properly, maintaining proper weight, and maintaining proper fitness.
And Eunice isn't alone. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States. And sometimes the symptoms are hard to recognize.
It's not always just, the elephant on the chest that is indicative of a heart attack, but it can also be some of the, weakness, dizziness, shortness of breath, even nausea, vomiting. The longer you wait if you're having a heart attack, the more damage that will be done to the heart.
That's why here at Eisenhower Medical Center, doctors and local seniors are recognizing American Heart Month and taking it to heart at their 10th annual conference.
That they didn't come to find out about somebody else. Things that they got out of today's are things that are going to benefit them in the future.
From cooking demonstrations to informational booths, the event focused on the symptoms and prevention of heart disease. One of the main ways to stay healthy is by maintaining a heart-healthy diet, but it may not be as easy as you think. A lot of these foods are very high in sodium. Take a look at this package of ramen. It's more than 3.5 days worth of your recommended daily sodium intake. Now, Eunice is up to her old tricks thanks to help from her doctors, lifestyle changes, and quick thinking when her symptoms set in.
We love to dance, and I can dance not as long as I used to. We can still get up there and pretend.
Carolyn Pearson, News Channel 3, Rancho Mirage.
A crash in the East Valley sends 3 people to the hospital. It happened near the 86 Expressway and Highway 195 in Mecca. That's where 2 vehicles with a total of 9 people inside crashed around 5:40 tonight. 3 suffered moderate to minor injuries and were taken to the hospital. No word on their condition. A senior citizen was arrested in Palm Desert for driving under the influence of drugs. Police say 65-year-old Geraldine Warner struck a vehicle yesterday afternoon. The other driver was trying to park on El Paseo just west of Larkspur Lane when it happened. Officers say Warner, a Boulder, Colorado resident, was on medication. She was booked for suspicion of misdemeanor drunken driving, but was released after posting a $2,500 bail. 3 DUI arrests after an overnight checkpoint in Palm Desert. More than 700 vehicles passed through the checkpoint. 7 drivers were arrested for driving without a valid license. And to keep you safe this Super Bowl weekend, the California Highway Patrol and Palm Desert Police are bulking up DUI patrols. The CHP will double the number of its officers. Drivers caught under the influence can expect heavy fines or a loss of their license. Authorities urge partygoers to have a designated driver for the trip after the big game. Time now for a check of the weather. Meteorologist Rob Bradley is in with a look at the conditions out there. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Laura. As you're driving around your way around the valley tonight, if you're out and about moving or if you take a step outside at all, you might notice a little bit of a slight spitting action outside, and no, your neighbor's not being mean. It's some very light rainfall starting to make its way to the valley floor despite the dry conditions that we still have hanging around the surface. Some of that rainfall might actually be making its way down to you. Very light rainfall, though. Nothing to cancel any plans about. If you're going out, you still may not even need an umbrella. The satellite pictures showing lots of southerly flow here, bringing in lots of moisture from the tropics, and that's going to continue for us for at least the early portion of the day tomorrow. So we do have some light chances to see some rainfall. Most of it's going to be falling over the mountains. However, we still could see some very light sprinkles make their way to the valley floor. Above average temperatures will continue for us like they did today into the week. We'll see a gradual cool down, though, and then we have a slight chance of rainfall later in the week as well with a cold front that's on the way. I'll give you full details on that in just a little bit. Laura.
Great, thanks so much, Rob. Tonight, a 5-year-old boy in Alabama remains locked in an underground bunker with the man who snatched him off of his school bus. The boy has been allowed to get his medication, some toys, and even some potato chips. Chuck Severson reports.
This Alabama community keeps vigil as a 5-year-old named Ethan spends a 5th night in an underground bunker with the man who abducted him.
We can't physically do anything. All we can do is meet up and pray here.
Ethan is coming out of that bunker.
The bunker Jimmy Lee Dykes built has an electric heater. It's also stocked with food and water.
He's also allowed us to provide coloring books, medication, toys. And I want to thank him for taking care of our child. That's very important.
Police did not say what kind of medication was put down the pipe they used to talk with Dykes, but Ethan reportedly has ADHD and a form of autism. The 65-year-old survivalist grabbed the boy off his school bus on Tuesday. One of the other kids on the bus said Dykes gave the driver a note before shooting him dead.
He's like, I'll kill all y'all. I'll kill y'all. I just want 2 kids.
One of Dykes' neighbors wishes he had told someone about Dykes' bizarre behavior in the weeks before the shooting.
I regret not warning some of the neighbors of some of his tendencies.
Officials don't think Dykes has physically harmed the boy. Ethan turns 6 next week and is uncertain if he will be home for his birthday. Chuck Severson, ABC News, New York.
Making headlines around the world tonight, new details on a terrorist attack on the U.S. Embassy in Turkey. A leftist militant group has claimed responsibility for yesterday's suicide attack in Ankara. The Revolutionary People's Liberation Party front says the suicide bomber carried out the act as a sacrifice on behalf of the group. Officials say the terrorist approached the visitor's entrance wearing an explosive vest. The blast killed him and a Turkish security guard and also seriously wounded a journalist. Also in Turkey tonight, police are questioning 11 people in connection with the death of a New York City woman. The body of Saray Sierra was found in Ankara after she went missing while vacationing alone in Istanbul. Authorities say Sierra had originally planned to travel with a friend, but ended up going alone when the friend canceled. She was in touch with friends and family, but never made it on her flight home. Police have yet to make any arrests. A security scare at Ontario International Airport after a man somehow slipped past TSA agents at a terminal last night. The male passenger had apparently been flagged down and required to go through a secondary screening, but instead of waiting, he walked into the terminal anyway. A security alert was reported, and every passenger, including those who already boarded flights, were rescreened.
We were kind of put on hold, and then they told everyone that they had to go back through security even if they were in the airport and had already gone through security. So we're back in line.
The incident grounded planes and stranded hundreds of travelers. All passengers were eventually accounted for. TSA agents say the apparent security breach was simply a miscommunication. Millions of undocumented immigrants are waiting to hear how immigration reform would change their lives. Next on News Channel 3, see how far lawmakers are to a solution. Plus, a Southland power plant diminished to dust. Details ahead. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. About 300 pounds of dynamite to bring down a power plant more than half a century old. The South Bay Power Plant in Chula Vista was imploded this morning. It was built in the late 1950s and first began producing energy in 1960. Then 2 years ago, it was shut down. The power plant had long been an eyesore along the San Diego Bay's picturesque shoreline. After all the debris is cleaned up, officials will get to work building a public park, hotel, and industrial development. Victims of priest abuse and their supporters are voicing frustrations with the latest steps taken by the Los Angeles Archdiocese. Members of SNAP, or the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, say recent released church documents do not have the names of a number of those involved with the abuse. The church documents are supposed to show the names of church leaders, administrators, priests, and anyone who knew the abuse was going on.
This is nonsense. These people have spent millions upon millions of the faithful's dollars to protect themselves. They fought the release of any documents all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, and still they're not giving us the right.
The documents show that Cardinal Roger Mahoney and others tried to hide some of these cases in the 1980s. Yesterday, Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez announced that Cardinal Mahoney is relieved of his public duties and Auxiliary Bishop Thomas Curry has stepped down as regional bishop. President Obama has identified immigration reform as a top priority of his second term, and it's a problem both Democrats and Republicans want to solve. Athena Jones has more on the push to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
I'm here because most Americans agree that it's time to fix a system that's been broken for way too long.
This new attempt to overhaul America's immigration system comes from both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue and from both parties.
We cannot continue as a nation with 11 million people residing in the shadows.
We believe we have a window of opportunity to act.
With a bipartisan group of senators outlining a plan to strengthen border security, improve enforcement of existing immigration laws, and eventually provide a way for undocumented immigrants already here to become citizens. That plan is in line with guidelines the president announced a day later.
And if Congress is unable to move forward in a timely fashion, I will send up a bill based on my proposal and insist that they vote on it right away.
But Congress hasn't passed a comprehensive immigration bill in nearly 30 years, despite several attempts.
We will fix the problems created by illegal immigration,
including one championed by President George W. Bush.
This is something that has so many moving parts, so many potentials to fall apart. And we've seen for 25 years that this hasn't been able to go through. So the odds are not in its favor for this thing getting through.
The biggest sticking point this time, giving undocumented immigrants legal status. Opponents call it amnesty.
Legalization also has the problem of encouraging more illegal immigration. We've tried this before. In 1986, we granted amnesty to 3 million people, and now we have 11, 12 million illegal immigrants here.
The Senate proposal would require enforcement measures to be complete before any immigrant on probationary status could earn a green card.
That was Athena Jones reporting. The Senate group plans to provide a bill to the Senate Judiciary Committee in March, which will then hope to get that measure passed over the summer. Up next on News Channel 3, Rob Bradley is in with a look at your full First Alert forecast. He joins us now with the preview. Rob.
Well, despite the cloud coverage today, we did reach the upper 70s in most of the valley. I'll let you know when we have a chance to cool down after the break. Remember, you get your weather online anytime on KESQ.com.
Now, First Alert weather with Rob Bradley.
Well, thanks to the blanket of clouds that stuck around last night, or overnight lows last night didn't get that low. Very mild temperatures here in the Southland. 48 degrees our low in Thermal last night, 53 in Palm Springs, 44 to the winter, and 29 Palms. And we're going to have slightly warmer temperatures tonight. We're cooling off very slowly right now, thanks to the clouds and the light moisture in the air. 66 degrees right now. Dew points are still in the 40s, and even though we're seeing some rain reach the floor, we're still very dry at the surface. Very strange occurrence right now in the valley. 63 degrees in Thermal, 66 in Palm Springs, 62 in Imperial, and 60 degrees in 29 Palms. And the humidity still fairly low here, mostly below 50%. Thermal's up there a little bit higher, a little bit more comfortable right now, 54%, 40% in Palm Springs. So pretty nice outside right now, despite the cloud coverage and some light rainfall that may be making its way to the floor. And when we're looking at our radar right now, showing some showers, really scattered mostly on the east end of the valley, west end of the valley, slightly more scattered stuff right now, but light showers could be making their way to the floor, even though most of it is going to be still hanging out over the mountains and the higher elevations. This big area of high pressures is responsible for pumping in all that southerly moisture into our area. We're going to see those clouds hang around for at least most of the day tomorrow, and then we're going to start to see some more clearing on Monday. Here's your microcast forecast. Those clouds sticking around till a little bit later, closer to the midnight hours tomorrow, and then we should be mostly clear as we head into the middle of the week. Winds might be picking up a little bit more tomorrow as well as the weak disturbance goes by, mostly in the higher deserts, though. Here in the valley, we should be staying mostly under 10 miles an hour for most of the day. Tonight, another mild one out there, 54 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, and some light sprinkles will still be lingering around in your day planner for tomorrow. 59 degrees by 8 a.m., mid to upper 70s in the afternoon with partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies for most of the day. 80 degrees in Coachella, 81 in Thermal, still upper 70s despite the cloud coverage. 78 degrees in Palm Desert, 79 in Indio. Palm Springs right around the same as what we saw today. Again, 78 degrees. The Tram getting close to 50. And the San Gorgonio Pass mostly staying in the upper 60s, lower 70s. High deserts, Yucca Morongo Valley all getting up into the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. And our extended forecast here, we're going to see some slight cooling as we head into the week, but it's going to be slow and gradual. Very nice days outside still, mostly clear skies. And then a cold front approaches near the end of the week. We're going to see the winds pick up a little bit, and temperatures are going to drop for next weekend. So enjoy the warmth while it lasts, and we're going to have a couple days of cooler weather.
Cool. I was in Thousand Palms earlier, and you could feel, like you said, someone spitting on you.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't anyone spitting. It was just,
right. Just a
light
little bit.
showers.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Rob.
Got it.
And the weather couldn't have been better out at PGA West for the 3rd annual golf show. Participants had a chance to try out their golf swing with some new equipment on the driving range and the putting course. And vendors selling the latest gadgets and apparel were on hand to answer any questions. There were demonstrations, junior golf clinics, and a long drive competition.
I think for us, you know, you realize that golf is a community, and you don't always realize how big it is because you play with the same folks over and over again, and then you come out here and you realize, man, there are a lot of people in the valley that really like golf.
And you can still get out there. It's not too late. The free event continues tomorrow at the Stadium Course Practice Facility on PGA Boulevard. It starts at 9 and runs until 1 p.m. For more information, check out laquintaresort.com/golf. The show will benefit the first tee of the Coachella Valley Youth Development Program. And dozens of people are rubbing elbows with the stars out in Hollywood this weekend. The 2-day event called the LA Celebrity Show brought in celebrities from the 60s to the 90s and beyond. With headshots and Sharpies ready to go, fans got to meet their favorites like Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie.
I love to meet people, and I like to know that they enjoy my show, and I like to know it's still on the air.
$10 may get you in the door, but if you want an autograph or photo with some of the 40 celebrities, it'll cost you. Sports is straight ahead. Hockey night in Southern California. The Ducks and Kings square off in Anaheim. Plus, high school wrestling takes center stage. CIF championship spots up for grabs. Greg Lee's next to show you who's moving on. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
Now, the best local sports show with Greg Lee.
Happy weekend, sports fans. It's Championship Saturday for a couple of high school winter sports in the Valley. We begin on the mats with wrestling. Palm Desert High School hosted the Desert Valley League and Junior Varsity Tournament. It's a team battle all year long, but this weekend all about the individuals, guys in every weight class, fighting for a berth in the CIF tournament. Palm Desert head coach Tom Lee would like to see his guys move on, but he's already got a lot to celebrate. The Aztecs ended La Quinta's 8-year winning streak in the DVL. It's only their 2nd wrestling title in school history.
Well, they do know that a lot of it is more focused on themselves now, but there's still a team aspect to it, and they still want to finish strong as a team, and they support each other throughout the week as we work hard to the finals and on to CIF.
Hey, how about a look at who's going to CIF, starting with the 108s. Kenny Fisher from La Quinta, 115. Roy Galvin from La Quinta. Blackhawks just rolling. 122, Armand Hernandez. 128, Jose Calderon. 134, Jose Siriaco from India. 140, Mario Tapia from Palm Springs. 147, Matt Holm from Palm Desert. 154, Ramses Demara, Coachella Valley represent. 162, Jerry Granillo, the first wrestler from Cathedral City. 172, Azai Serrano from Palm Desert. 184, Julio Alvarado, another Lion. 197, Chase Lemmerman from Palm Desert. And the big boys, 222, Tanner Doria from La Quinta, and 287, Brendan Blanchett from Palm Desert. Moving forward on this championship Saturday, we take our show to the pool for some girls water polo. DVL championship between the La Quinta Blackhawks and the undefeated Palm Desert Aztecs. In the 3rd, La Quinta down 7-3. Enter Alina Hudson. She scores. Blackhawks on the comeback trail. Later in the 3rd, Palm Desert responds. Addison Halligan, gimme the rock, finds the back of the net. 8-4 Aztecs lead. Early 4th period, the Aztecs make sure to leave no doubt in this one. Elise Stein scores from point blank. Palm Desert caps an undefeated season. They are your DVL champions with an 11-5 victory over La Quinta.
It's really exciting. This is actually my first year on the varsity team, and it's super exciting. I mean, we've been working for it since April of last year, and so it's just really exciting. It's really exhilarating to be a part of such a good team, and there was such a close group of girls, and to see all our hard work pay off. We just have one goal left, and that's CIF.
Big congratulations to the Aztecs. All right, Saturday night hockey, battle for SoCal. It's the Ducks and Kings. Quack, quack early. Emerson Eade of Long Beach represent, gets it to Nick Bonino. He does the rest. Backhand for the first goal. Shortly after, Bonino again. Behind the net, the wraparound's good. 2-0 Ducks, and here's something you don't see every day. Star Jonathan Quick gets pulled for Jonathan Bernier. Yikes. Second period, Ducks up 4-3 now. Kings fighting back. Justin Williams scores on the backhand. Tie game. There's just too much offense from the Ducks. They get their 5th win of the season. Anaheim drops LA 7-4, the final. Let's hit the links. The Waste Management Phoenix Open should just be renamed. The Phil Mickelson Open, dude, just torching the course. But first, some fun. Padraig Harrington getting in on a Super Bowl spirit. That's a pretty nice pick. Not bad at all, but all about Lefty this week. Out of the bunker on number 15. This is just dumb. He would birdie here, then on to number 16 we go.
Well, he's going right at the hole. Oh, come on.
Hey, that's on my sports bucket list. It should be on yours, too. Phil giving them something to cheer about, nearly holding out, then Lefty showing off the recovery skills on 18 out of the rough stuff. Only like Phil can. Sticks it on the green. Then Mickelson lines up the putt to match the 54-hole tournament record for strokes, tying him with Mark Calcavecchia in 2001. He is 24 under going into Sunday's final round. That's it for sports. Stay with us. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
Finally tonight, an amazing end to a tied game in Rochester, New York. With seconds to go in the fourth quarter, a high school basketball player makes the game-winning shot on his knees. Gregory, can you do that?
No.
If you missed it, here it is again. Take a look. Point guard Daniel Bay Barley stumbled but kept his dribble, and as the clock ticked down, threw a sidearm half-court shot before the buzzer. They won. Awesome.
Look at Loriana is doing sports.
Yeah.
She'll do it next week, too.
I can't wait. We'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good night.